Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with your heart racing, your chest tight or your head spinning, wondering what's going on? Most people assume it's just stress or a bad dream. But what if I told you that a simple snack you ate just a few hours before could be the hidden trigger, especially if you're over 60? You see, many seniors enjoy a handful of mixed nuts in the evening. It feels healthy, right? Tasty, crunchy, good for the heart. But there's a surprising twist. Some of these healthy nuts might quietly increase your stroke risk while you sleep. In today's video, we'll break down the most common nighttime nuts, pecans, pine nuts, hazelnuts, and more, and show you which ones could silently harm your heart, your brain, and your circulation if eaten too late. And don't worry, I'll also show you safer alternatives and better times to eat them. Before we jump in, let me know in the comments, do you snack on nuts before bed? Type 1 if yes or 0 if not. And don't forget to subscribe to WellNexus Seniors, your home for senior health, wisdom, and vitality. Pecans. Just hearing the word brings to mind holiday pies, buttery textures, and cozy evenings. For many seniors, a small handful of pecans before bed feels like a harmless indulgence, or even a healthy one. After all, they're natural, plant-based, and loaded with nutrients. But what most people don't realize is that pecans, when eaten late at night, can silently turn from a friendly snack into a cardiovascular threat. Here's why. Pecans are one of the most calorie-dense nuts you can eat. Just one small serving, about a handful, packs more than 200 calories and a significant load of saturated fats. During the day, your body is active, your metabolism is firing, and your circulatory system is moving efficiently. But at night, especially after age 60, your metabolism naturally slows, blood flow decreases, and your body goes into repair mode. That's when the trouble starts. Because your body processes fats more slowly during sleep, these saturated fats tend to linger in the bloodstream longer. Your blood becomes slightly thicker, more viscous, and less able to move freely through your vessels. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that consuming high-fat snacks, particularly those rich in saturated fat, during the evening can significantly raise blood viscosity. What does that mean in simple terms? Your blood becomes sluggish, and when blood flow slows while you're lying still for hours at night, you create an environment where clots can quietly begin to form. For seniors, whose arteries may already be more rigid and narrowed, this combination can be especially dangerous. It increases the risk of mini-strokes, silent cardiovascular events, and even cognitive decline over time. And the most unsettling part, you may not feel a thing until it's too late. But it's not just about the fat content. Pecans also carry a hefty amount of omega-6 fatty acids. While these are essential in small amounts, too much omega-6, especially without enough omega-3 to balance it, can promote inflammation. That inflammation targets the very lining of your blood vessels, making them more prone to damage. Think of it like rust inside a pipe. Over time, it weakens the structure and narrows the flow. So now you've got slower, thicker blood moving through inflamed, fragile vessels, all happening while you're supposed to be peacefully resting. It's the perfect storm. And the scary part. Most people have no idea this is happening. They eat their pecans, turn off the lights and drift off, unaware that their cardiovascular system is under pressure instead of at peace. So what's the better move? The good news is, you don't have to give up pecans entirely. In fact, they can still be part of a heart-smart diet if you're strategic about when you eat them. Try adding pecans to your morning oatmeal or lunchtime salad. Your body will be in a much better state to digest the fats, process the nutrients, and move the calories through the system efficiently. Another great idea? Pair them with fiber-rich foods like berries or whole grains to slow absorption and reduce the impact on your bloodstream. Timing truly is everything. And if you're craving something crunchy at night, opt for a small serving of unsalted pumpkin seeds or a slice of apple with almond butter, low fat, low sodium, and much gentler on your heart. Remember, your body is doing critical work while you sleep. Don't give it extra battles to fight. Help it heal, help it rest. Your heart and your future self will thank you. Now let's talk about a nut that often flies under the radar. Pine nuts. These tiny buttery seeds might seem like an innocent topping on your salad or a healthy ingredient in homemade pesto. But if you're over 60 and enjoy them at night, especially before bed, they could be quietly working against your cardiovascular health. You see, pine nuts are exceptionally high in omega-6 fatty acids. And while omega-6 is an essential nutrient our bodies need, the danger lies in the imbalance. Most Americans, especially seniors, are already getting far too much omega-6 and not nearly enough omega-3. This creates a disproportion in your system, and that imbalance doesn't just sit quietly. It promotes inflammation in your blood vessels, especially when your body is at rest. Let me explain why that matters. Your blood vessels are like flexible highways, carrying oxygen-rich blood to every part of your body, including your brain. But when chronic inflammation sets in, those highways begin to narrow, stiffen, and weaken over time. According to a study published in the Journal of Lipid Research, diets high in omega-6 fats, especially when not offset by omega-3s, are directly linked to increased markers of vascular inflammation. For older adults, this is a critical red flag. Why? Because as we age, our arteries naturally lose some of their flexibility. Add inflammation to that equation, and you now have fragile vessels more vulnerable to damage. Vessels that, under pressure during sleep, could rupture or develop clots without warning. And that's where the real danger begins. Now picture this. You're sleeping soundly, expecting your heart rate to lower, your pressure to stabilize, and your body to recover. But instead, that small handful of pine nuts you had after dinner is silently triggering low-grade inflammation in your arteries. Your body enters the night with more internal stress than it should have. Blood flow slows, inflammation builds, and in some cases micro-damage begins. Damage that doesn't scream, but whispers over time. And it's that whisper that turns into a stroke risk in the long run. We're not talking about a one-time event, but the slow, steady accumulation of stress on your vascular system that builds night after night. This is especially concerning if you already deal with high blood pressure or cholesterol. So what can you do? You don't need to cut out pine nuts entirely. The solution is all about timing and balance. First, move your pine nut intake to earlier in the day, preferably breakfast or lunch, when your body is more active, your metabolism is higher, and your cardiovascular system is in motion. This gives your body a much better chance to process those fats efficiently, without triggering inflammation during your rest hours. Second, offset their effects by increasing your intake of omega-3 rich foods like flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, or wild-caught fish like salmon. This helps to restore balance and reduce overall inflammation. Lastly, be mindful of portion size. Pine nuts are small but calorie-dense, and it's easy to eat more than you realize, especially when they're tossed into dishes or eaten straight from the bag. In the end, it's not about demonizing any one food. It's about being smarter with our choices, especially as we age. Your nighttime should be a time of healing, not hidden harm. So take a moment to look at what you're snacking on after sunset, because sometimes the smallest foods can have the biggest impact on your health, especially when the lights go out. Next on our list is a nut that often hides behind a sweet reputation: hazelnuts. We usually associate hazelnuts with chocolate spreads, holiday desserts, or gourmet coffees. But in the health world, they're also praised as a source of plant-based fats, vitamins, and antioxidants. Many seniors reach for plain roasted hazelnuts thinking they're a heart-smart choice. And to be fair, when eaten during the day and in moderation, they can be. But at night, especially for older adults, hazelnuts come with a hidden risk that's rarely discussed, and it has to do with something called arginine. Arginine is an amino acid naturally found in hazelnuts that helps produce nitric oxide, a compound that causes your blood vessels to dilate or widen. This process is usually a good thing. It improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and supports heart health. But here's where it gets tricky. When your cardiovascular system is already delicate, due to age, high blood pressure, or medication, adding too much arginine too late in the day can backfire, especially while you're asleep. During sleep, your body's internal systems are supposed to settle into a rhythm of rest and repair. But when your vessels dilate too quickly or unevenly because of a spike in nitric oxide, it can lead to what doctors call vascular instability. Think of your blood vessels like water pipes. If they suddenly expand and contract in the middle of the night, pressure builds and flows become unpredictable. That can trigger spikes or drops in blood pressure, neither of which are safe for a heart that's trying to rest. In more serious cases, especially for those already at risk, This can even cause tiny capillaries in the brain or eyes to rupture. A review published in Hypertension Research emphasized that individuals with fragile arteries or pre-existing vascular conditions are more likely to experience microvascular damage when exposed to vasodilating agents like arginine during resting periods. These aren't rare cases, they're happening silently without warning in people who think they're doing everything right. So what's the takeaway here? It's not that hazelnuts are bad. In fact, their healthy fats and antioxidants still hold value, but timing matters. If you enjoy hazelnuts, move them to the first half of your day, maybe as part of your breakfast, a mid-morning snack, or blended into a smoothie. That way, your body can benefit from the nitric oxide boost while you're active and upright, not horizontal and vulnerable. And if you have a history of high blood pressure, arrhythmias, or vascular sensitivity, it's worth speaking with your doctor before making hazelnuts a daily habit, especially before bed. Another quick tip: watch out for hazelnuts that are packaged in chocolate, sugar, or sweet glazes. These additives don't just add calories, they contribute to inflammation, which only makes the vessel instability worse. Instead, stick to plain, dry roasted hazelnuts and use them as part of a balanced daytime diet. When we hit our 60s and beyond, the little things, like when and how we snack, start to matter more. Your cardiovascular system is always listening, and by choosing to nourish it at the right times, you help your body stay calm, balanced, and strong through the night. Now let's take a closer look at one of the most deceptively dangerous snacks hiding in plain sight: trail mix. It's the kind of snack that seems healthy at first glance. A colorful mix of nuts, dried fruits, maybe even a few seeds. You might toss a handful into a bowl while watching TV, or take a bag with you on a walk. For many seniors, it feels like the perfect combination: protein, fiber, and just a touch of sweetness. But here's the truth that most labels won't tell you. Most store-bought trail mixes are loaded with sodium, sugar, and preservatives. And when consumed before bed, especially after the age of 60, this so-called healthy snack could quietly be placing your heart and brain under serious stress. Let's start with the sodium. Many trail mixes include salted nuts, sometimes even double salted or flavored with hidden sodium sources like soy sauce powder or seasoning blends. And just one serving can contain over 150 milligrams of sodium. But let's be honest, how many of us stop at one serving? With just a few extra handfuls, you've unknowingly ingested a sodium level that can cause your blood pressure to rise during the night, at the exact time when your cardiovascular system should be winding down. A study published in Circulation found that high sodium intake before bed increases nighttime blood pressure levels, reduces vascular flexibility, and raises the risk of silent strokes, especially in older adults whose arteries are already less elastic. But it doesn't stop there. Let's talk about the sugar. Dried fruits may sound wholesome, but many are coated in added sugars to enhance flavor and shelf life. Mango strips, cranberries, banana chips, even raisins can carry more than 10 grams of sugar per serving. Sugar is a known driver of vascular inflammation. It weakens the lining of your arteries and promotes plaque buildup, especially when your body is in a resting state. Combine that with elevated blood pressure from sodium, and now your bloodstream is a sticky, high-pressure environment ripe for clot formation. And when blood flow naturally slows during sleep, those clots have a greater chance of forming, sticking, and even traveling, leading to a potential stroke or heart attack without warning. Imagine your bloodstream at night like a highway. Normally, traffic is light and smooth, but when you add sodium and sugar, it's like you've turned on rush hour. More vehicles, more blockages, more accidents. That's the internal traffic jam your heart and brain are dealing with, just because of a bedtime snack that seemed innocent. So what's the safer path forward? First, ditch the store-bought trail mixes. Most of them contain more salt, sugar, and oil than your heart can safely handle. Instead, make your own at home. Use unsalted nuts, unsweetened dried fruits, and avoid anything candied or coated. Keep the portions small and enjoy them earlier in the day, ideally between breakfast and lunch, when your body is active and able to metabolize the ingredients properly. It's important to remember that trail mix isn't evil, it's just mismarketed. The key is control and timing. For seniors, the window of safety when it comes to heart health is narrower, but still very manageable. Your choices matter more now than ever. So the next time you reach for that trail mix in the evening, stop and ask yourself, is this snack helping my body rest or forcing it to fight while I sleep? That one question could make all the difference. Now let's focus on one of the most common evening snacks found in senior households across America: salted roasted almonds. They're crunchy, savory, and feel like a smart choice. After all, almonds are known for their healthy fats, vitamin E, and fiber. You can grab a handful while watching TV, reading a book, or relaxing before bed. It feels satisfying without guilt. But here's the hidden truth. Salted almonds, especially when consumed after dinner, may be silently raising your blood pressure while you sleep, putting unnecessary strain on your heart and dramatically increasing your risk of cardiovascular events, especially if you're over the age of 60. The biggest concern here is not the almond itself, it's the sodium coating. Just 1 ounce of salted almonds can contain between 150 to 200 milligrams of sodium. That might not sound like much, but for seniors, many of whom are already managing blood pressure or heart issues, that added salt can have a big impact. Why? Because sodium causes your body to retain water, which increases blood volume. That extra volume creates more pressure inside your arteries, forcing your heart to work harder. Normally, at night, your heart rate and blood pressure should decrease, allowing your body to rest and repair. But when you load up on salty snacks, your cardiovascular system stays on high alert, working overtime during hours meant for recovery. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension confirmed that even moderate sodium intake before bed can cause a noticeable spike in nighttime blood pressure, particularly in older adults. But this isn't just about numbers on a monitor. Sustained high blood pressure during the night is linked to a higher risk of silent strokes, mini heart attacks, and early morning cardiovascular events, all of which can happen without any obvious warning signs. Imagine this. Your arteries, which should be like soft, flexible garden hoses at night, are instead stiff, overpressurized tubes. That pressure builds up with nowhere to go, and over time, something has to give. It's also important to remember how easy it is to overeat almonds. They're small, they're tasty, and they don't fill you up right away. A few handfuls while watching your favorite show, and suddenly you've doubled or even tripled the sodium intake your heart can handle in one sitting. And unlike meals, snacks like this don't register in the same way psychologically. We underestimate their impact simply because they're not a meal. But the truth is, for seniors, timing and portion control make all the difference when it comes to heart health. So what should you do instead? The solution is simple and effective. First, switch to unsalted or lightly salted almonds. That one change alone can drastically reduce the sodium load on your system. Second, shift your almond intake to earlier in the day, perhaps with breakfast or as part of a midday snack, when your body is more active and able to manage blood volume and pressure more efficiently. And finally, always read the label. Even brands that say lightly salted can contain surprising amounts of sodium, depending on the serving size. You don't have to give up almonds altogether. They're still one of the most nutritious nuts available. But like with all things in life, especially in your golden years, how and when you enjoy them makes all the difference. Give your heart the rest it deserves. Make your snacks work for your health, not against it, especially when the lights go out and your body depends on peace, not pressure. Now let's take a closer look at a snack that feels light, fun, and even a little luxurious: pistachios. They're the kind of nut that people love to crack open one by one, making the eating experience feel more mindful and controlled. And with all the health claims out there, good for your heart, packed with plant protein, low in calories, it's easy to believe that pistachios are a guilt-free treat, even at night. But here's where things take a surprising turn. For seniors, especially those managing blood pressure or vascular health, pistachios before bed can quietly disrupt your cardiovascular system even while you sleep. Let's start with the arginine factor. Just like hazelnuts, pistachios are naturally high in this amino acid, which stimulates the production of nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide causes your blood vessels to relax and widen, improving circulation. During the day when your body is active and moving, this can be a good thing. But at night, when you're lying down and your system is trying to enter a calm, steady rhythm, Too much vasodilation can actually destabilize your blood pressure. Your vessels may widen too much, causing a drop in blood pressure, followed by a compensatory spike in heart rate or pressure. This back and forth puts unnecessary stress on your heart, just when it's supposed to be resting. A study in the American Journal of Physiology highlighted how elevated nighttime nitric oxide activity, especially in older adults, can lead to irregular blood pressure regulation and reduced cerebral blood flow. In simple terms, it means your brain might not be getting enough oxygen-rich blood when it needs it most. Add to that the fact that most people don't eat raw pistachios. The vast majority of pistachios sold in stores are salted and roasted, which piles on the sodium and heat-altered fats. Just one serving can contain over 120 milligrams of sodium, and again, who stops at one serving when you're casually snacking in front of the TV? This combination of arginine-induced vessel changes and added sodium creates what I call a silent cardiovascular trap. Your blood vessels expand, your pressure drops, then your heart kicks into overdrive to correct it. Meanwhile, sodium triggers fluid retention, raising blood volume and pressure once again. It's like a biological tug-of-war happening in the middle of the night, and your heart is caught in the middle of the rope. For seniors with fragile vessels or existing conditions, this is not just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. Episodes of nighttime hypertension, irregular heartbeat, or even microstrokes can all be linked to vascular instability created by poor snack timing and choices. But here's the silver lining. You don't have to give up pistachios. They can still be part of your diet if you make a few smart adjustments. First, always choose unsalted versions to avoid the blood pressure spike. Second, enjoy them earlier in the day when your cardiovascular system is more active and resilient. Mid-morning or early afternoon is ideal. Third, pair them with foods rich in magnesium and potassium, like bananas or leafy greens, which help balance out blood pressure naturally. Remember, it's not about being afraid of food. It's about understanding how your body works differently now that you're older. Your heart, your blood vessels, your metabolism, all of it has shifted, and so should your habits. By making small intentional choices, like when to eat certain snacks, you empower your body to function better, rest deeper, and protect you longer. And that's the kind of wisdom that turns a healthy habit into a life-saving one. Finally, we arrive at a nut, often hailed as the king of brain health, walnuts. Rich in omega-3s, antioxidants, and plant-based nutrients, walnuts have earned a golden reputation in the wellness world. You'll often hear phrases like brain food or heart protector attached to them, and for good reason. Their alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, is a plant-based omega-3 that truly supports cognitive function and reduces inflammation. But here's the twist. Even walnuts, when eaten at the wrong time of day, can quietly work against your health, especially if you're over 60. The very thing that makes them powerful during the day, those healthy fats, can become a burden to your cardiovascular and digestive system while you sleep. Let's break it down. Walnuts are high in polyunsaturated fats, which your body usually processes well during the day. But at night, your metabolism slows down, your digestive system shifts into rest mode, and your blood circulation becomes more passive. As a result, fats consumed late in the evening tend to stay longer in your bloodstream. A study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that eating high-fat foods, yes, even healthy fats like those in walnuts, before bed significantly increases nocturnal triglyceride levels. Elevated triglycerides at night can interfere with blood flow, contribute to arterial stiffness, and place silent stress on the heart when it's supposed to be recovering. But the potential impact doesn't stop there. For many people, especially older adults, high-fat foods late at night can trigger acid reflux or indigestion. That discomfort can disrupt your sleep quality, increase nighttime cortisol levels, and even raise your heart rate unexpectedly. Remember, cortisol is a stress hormone, and when it spikes during the night, it doesn't just mess with your sleep. It also elevates blood pressure and increases your risk of cardiovascular issues over time. So while walnuts are celebrated for heart health, consuming them before bed, especially in large portions or with added salt or sugar, could quietly push your system into a state of tension instead of rest. And there's another layer to consider. Many commercially packaged walnuts come salted, honey roasted or coated in sweet glazes. This adds extra sodium and sugar, compounding the stress on your cardiovascular system. Just a handful of these flavored versions can contain over 150 milligrams of sodium and 8 to 12 grams of sugar. When consumed in the evening, this combo is the perfect recipe for inflammation, water retention, and blood pressure elevation, a triple threat for seniors with any kind of vascular sensitivity. So what's the best way to enjoy walnuts without sabotaging your nighttime health? Simple. Shift them to the first half of your day, add them to a breakfast bowl of oatmeal, toss them into a midday salad, or blend them into a smoothie for a brain-boosting lunch. Your body will be better equipped to digest the fats, absorb the nutrients, and keep your heart rhythm steady. And if you do purchase packaged walnuts, always check the label. Look for unsalted, raw, or dry-roasted options with no added sugars or oils. At the end of the day, it's not about avoiding nutritious foods, it's about learning how to use them wisely. As we age, the timing of our nutrition matters just as much as the content. Walnuts are still a powerful ally for your brain and heart, but eaten at the right time, they become medicine. At the wrong time, they become a burden. And understanding that difference is one of the most empowering choices you can make for your long-term health. So as you move forward, let your snacks serve you, not surprise you. Your body will thank you for the shift. So, what's the takeaway? You don't need to cut out your favorite snacks. It's all about timing and awareness for seniors. When you eat can matter just as much as what you eat. Ready to take the next step toward a healthier life? Check out the recommended products that can support your journey. Find the links in the pinned comment. Choose unsalted natural versions. Shift snacking to earlier in the day. And always pay attention to how your body feels after certain foods. These small changes can lead to better sleep, more energy, and a stronger heart. Subscribe to WellNexus Seniors for more life-saving tips. And tell us below, which of these snacks surprised you the most? Your health matters, and every choice brings you one step closer to a longer, safer, more vibrant life.